Okay, your couch just burst into flames. What do you do?
Roast marshmallows.
Not call 911?
No, if the furniture's dead and leaving life, then who am I to judge?
So you're just fine with spontaneous combustion?
Nope. I guess I'm eating Jesus.
Well, that's a bit extreme. Welcome to a home on Dice Road in Merrill, Michigan, where you hear disembodied voices pounding on the walls, windows shattering, and both the family and the police have witnessed spontaneous combustion. And to this day, the police can't explain any of it.
So, a horror movie.
With witnesses.
Great. Can't wait.
Grab your tinfoil hat.
And your fire extinguisher.
This is Beyond Besties. Okay, so today's investigation takes us to the most haunted street you've never heard of.
Yep.
Get ready, buckle in. So this house is on Dice Road in rural Saginaw County, Michigan, near the village of Merrill. Population of about 700. This particular stretch of road has developed a reputation as one of Michigan's most intensely haunted areas, blending modern paranormal claims with deeper historical context that includes a Native American presence. The most well-known haunting on Dice Road is what we're going to talk about today, the Pomeraning house. Mm-hmm. This is exceptionally interesting, as it is one of the most well-documented hauntings due to police and various other investigative groups' involvement, and yet very few people have heard about it.
Like, we've never
heard about it
until we happened upon the documentary, and I was like, oh, let's find out more about this.
Yeah, you just happened upon it.
Yeah, I think I was scrolling on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, hell.
And it's surprising.
Michigan Hell House. I was like, oh, this looks interesting.
It's so surprising to me that, we had, up until this point, no one's ever heard of it.
Yeah. And it's wild because the shit that went on there.
The shit that went
on. How did it's crazy that this isn't more well known.
Yeah. So let's get into it. So the Pomeraning house, often referred to as the Michigan Hell House, became the center of intense attention during 1974 to 1975, a whole year, when the Pomeraning family reported a series of escalating and unexplained disturbances. What makes the case so notable is not just the severity of the reported phenomena, but the involvement of law enforcement, the number of documented incidences, and the way the story evolved over time through media and retelling. Yeah. There are also other things along that stretch of road, other mysterious hauntings. If we have time, we can get into at the end, towards the end of the episode, as a kind of a little treat. Hopefully we get get through it, because knowing us, we go on we get off go on tangents, but we have our script to keep us on track.
Yeah, we have paperwork.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you, Rachel.
Lifesaver. So it's about to get weird.
Buckle up, kids.
Buckle up. So the Pomeraning house. So let's start back in 1951.
Yep.
When the house was built. The family lived there. Harold, the father, with Mabel, his wife, and their two children, Terry and Dwayne, lived there for nearly 20 plus years before anything started happening. Fairly normal family. Yeah. Quiet. Until one fateful night, fast forward to July 9th, 1974. That's where the story begins, literally with a bang.
Literally.
They were awoken in the middle of the night to a loud bang. Mm-hmm. They get up to investigate. Actually,
they thought it was a prowler.
Yeah, because of what happened, they came into the kitchen and there was glass all on the floor.
Yep.
Like the window had been, something had been thrown at, how someone throws a brick at the window?
Yeah.
And it's just smashed. It's smashed in.
But there was nothing. There was nothing there.
There was nothing. They called the police. The police came, investigated. Basically was seen as an attempted break-in. But there was no evidence of a prowler outside. There was like no footprints or anything.
Yeah.
So they filed a report, and then
That was that.
after that, every night,
Yep.
something knocking on the wall started. I believe it was near the boys' bedroom.
Yeah. It was near the boys' bedroom.
And it wasn't just slight knocking; it was actual banging. That occurred every night. For a whole year.
They said they could feel it on the walls.
Yeah, they could feel it on the
Like
walls.
the walls vibrating.
Yeah, so it wasn't just, a light rapping. It was banging.
Yeah. That's messed
It's
up.
wild. That's crazy. So the pounding continued on a nightly basis, and the Pomeranings continued to call the police, sometimes multiple times a night. The activity continued to increase in severity. So the first responding officer, Officer Frisbee, he, on the second visit to the home, he was actually the first responding officer for the first incident. And then the second incident, and visit to the home, a painting inexplicably fell off the wall, and a coffee cup fell off the table while he was talking to the father, Harold.
Yeah.
So it's not only pounding. There were other things that occurred in the home that were unexplainable, and we'll get into. Given the inexplicable activity with no known cause, there was heavy police involvement, surveillance of the home, and some officers, like Frisbee, were actual witnesses to both the pounding and seeing the objects move on their own. Some even reported the pounding increased in severity until it sounded more like explosions, and that came way later. Like that was like
almost like 6 months later, right?
It was about 6 months later, and these weren't just like off in the distance explosions. They were like in real life, like bangs, but with no known cause. Again. And at this point, the police started bringing in experts.
Yeah.
Like the,
Sorry, I gotta shut my phone off.
I know, I didn't even think of that.
Of course my brother's gonna call when
one ringy dingy.
Yeah. Like, Jesus. Sorry.
Billy, we're in the middle of recording. Like, leave it to Billy.
I know.
But before we talk about there was an incident on Halloween.
Yeah.
That
was wild.
That was wild. So, as the police presence increased, they actually did on Halloween night. They did a stakeout. So there were like 8 deputies strategically placed around the property, waiting outside, and the sheriff was inside, and he instructed them, like, I'll radio you when I start hearing the pounding.
The family was not aware that they were outside.
And the family had no idea. So that way there was no forewarning. So like if something, if there was something nefarious going on.
Because they originally thought it was the family.
Because they thought it was the family, but this is where like they rule at this point. After this point, this is where they kind of like rule the family out.
Yeah.
After this incident. So the sheriff told them, when I start hearing the banging, I'll radio you, and you tell me if like you can hear the banging or whatever.
Yeah.
And so the banging started, and he went over the radio, and Frisbee was involved with this too. And he radioed them when the banging started, and they're all reporting back, I can't hear it.
Yeah.
And mind you, they're all around the house. Like you'd think if you hear this loud banging, you'd be able to hear it outside. They couldn't hear anything.
Yeah.
The only thing they could hear was the banging over the radio.
Which is crazy.
Because the sheriff was inside.
Yeah.
So, like, how is that possible? Like, you can only hear it on the inside and not the outside, like this loud banging.
Yeah. That's wild.
And after that, they suspected Terry.
Yeah.
Suspected one of the sons. They polygraphed. They ended up polygraphing him.
The whole family.
The
they
whole
polygraphed.
family. But
I think he was polygraphed twice.
Terry was polygraphed twice, and they all passed with flying colors.
Yeah. All except for Dwayne.
Dwayne, I believe. I don't know if because
Dwayne. Well, not that he didn't pass. He was never polygraphed.
Yeah. I'm not sure why. I was suspecting maybe because of his
seizures, I think.
I don't know if he had suffered a seizure at that point, but we'll get into that. The cause of that.
Yeah.
But then they rule the family out. You know, they keep coming. They keep responding to the suspected prowler or whatever.
And it's crazy because it was every night.
It was every night for a year.
Like, the police would come every single night. They were called every single night.
And they just kept coming. But, it's just amazing.
Like, what's the Pomeranians again?
It's a Pomeraning house again. After a while, you're just like, okay.
Yeah.
It's just another Tuesday.
Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah, and then the bang, the explosion started happening 6 months later.
Yeah.
Before we get into that, before they did start calling in the experts before that, like the geological people, Geological Survey, the telephone company, the FAA, like
Dow Chemical, Power Company. They even had the electric and the gas shut off at one point.
Right, to see if it was an issue with...
And it was still happening with everything shut off.
Still happening with everything shut off. So still no, like, plausible explanation as to why this was occurring. And so then, the family's getting unsettled, like, what's going on. So they call their pastor.
Yeah.
And their pastor flat out refuses to come and bless the house.
Yeah.
So then they call a Catholic priest.
I'm sorry, but in anything in paranormal, if you want to get it more mad and messed up, you call a Catholic priest. Like, honestly, have you ever heard of a Catholic priest coming and actually, like, helping and not, like, stirring things up even more? Every time I've heard of it, it's always been like everything escalates as soon as that stuff happens.
Because that's when it did start escalating.
Of course it did.
But of course. But who are we to, like, judge?
Yeah.
The evidence speaks for itself. And unfortunately, they tried. This was the 70s too.
Yeah.
So the Catholic priest blessed the house, much to the dismay of the family. Unfortunately, it did not help. And actually, things started to escalate. The explosion started happening. And that was witnessed. And this is all documented. So, like, police reports and everything. So, in one incident, in one day, the police were dispatched to the home around 2:30 because of a blast being reported. 13 blasts were reported in this one day, in this one incident, from 1:50 p.m. to about 3:48 p.m. 13 different blasts at all, like, different time increments, and there was no, like...
It was spontaneous. It wasn't, like...
There was no apparent pattern. Like, It wasn't every 5 minutes. It could have been every 3 minutes, and then every 7 minutes, then, it was very random. The police enlisted the help of a parapsychologist named William Roll. So they're at a loss at this point.
And he actually investigated the...
Amityville house, yeah. So one of the investigators of the Amityville house was brought in from the Physical Research Foundation at Duke University, which is now the Wright Institute, come to find out.
Yeah.
There's a story behind that. But do they help through the help of an anonymous donation? Actually,
yeah,
that's what an anonymous donation from. I don't know.
Yeah.
So they brought him out, and then his colleague, Professor Jerry Soflin. They brought them in February of 1975. Soflin stayed with the family for a week, and then at that time experienced increased poltergeist activity. That included moving objects such as lamps, figurines, a fruit basket, a flower basket, a cup of hot tea, and a pillow.
The pillow.
The pillow incident.
The pillow.
This would just send me right over the edge.
I would turn tail so quick. I would be out of there. I'll give them the deed to the mortgage and I'm out.
Sign the papers right over.
Sign the papers, yeah.
At this point, because like me, I'm very claustrophobic. So if that happened to me, poor Mabel. This happened to Harold's wife, Mabel. An incident where I think the cousins were sleeping over this night. Terry and Dwayne's cousins. And they were just like sitting in the living room or whatever, and a pillow from a throw pillow, like it was like on her face.
It flew over and hit her in the face.
Flew at her and hit her in the face, and they couldn't get it off of her face. Like multiple people tried to pull it off. Yeah. It was like almost like it was glued to her body, and it just finally after. I don't know how many moments just like fell off.
Yeah.
But they were physically trying to get it off her face for like minutes.
Yeah.
And it just wouldn't budge. That would anything in my face, and like I would just feel like I was suffocating. Like,
exactly. And that's like a scary feeling. Like I wouldn't want to feel like that. That's terrifying.
But yeah, at that point I'd be like, okay, you can have the house.
Yeah. Like
I'd be done after that.
Kids, get in the station wagon. Let's go.
So this is kind of like, I don't know if they got this from the Shippey documentary about the knife. So another aggressive incident involving inexplicably moving objects was when a paranormal expert used a spirit board with the family.
Spirit
board, Ouija board,
That's a no-no.
Yeah.
Especially with the stuff that they're experiencing, they think it's a wise idea to pull out one of those. Like, no, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't necessarily believe in that, but I'm not going to fuck around and find out.
Yeah, no.
I'm good.
So, with their hands on the board, the spirit they were in contact with slowly spelled out knife.
Yep.
No sooner had it stopped spelling the word, it registered with everyone. A knife from the knife block came flying at them. If they had not moved in time, Terry and Dwayne believed someone would have been severely hurt or killed by the knife due to the speed at which it came flying at them.
Again, get in the station wagon.
Again. Deuces.
Deuces, yeah.
So, a quick side note, so we had attempted to contact Jerry.
Yeah, we did. a couple times
with no success.
We actually, you called the Ryan Institute and she gave you the information.
She gave me, she was a lovely person. She gave, I called the Ryan Institute, which is formerly Duke. So we got the bright idea to try and reach out to him, and she said that he's actually revisiting the case. Mm-hmm. Which, I was all stoked about. So, she gave me his email. I emailed him, no response. And Amanda's under the suspicion that he might not.
He met Jesus.
He's on the other side investigating.
Yeah, yep.
I don't know. We don't know because we haven't heard from him.
He went through the looking glass. He's on the other side.
We'll have to. I have a Ouija board. We'll have to call him up.
In the 70s, he was older. Dude, if he.
He's going to be at least in his 80s, I would assume. But why would she say that? He's revisiting the case.
I don't know.
From beyond the grave.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe he had a Ouija board. I don't know.
well, I have one. We can call him up on the Ouija board.
You're going to be on your own on that.
It glows in the dark.
You do you. But this is going to become a long-distance relationship, just letting you know if you use that.
Don't worry, I got you, boo boo. All right, but so like, what's interesting is like, why did it escalate when when Jerry came? So like, getting back, so during his week at Dice Road, he witnessed 3 fires. So this is where the fires come into play.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Arguably the most intense and dangerous activity the family experienced for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
The first incident was when he hung his towel over the glass shower door and it spontaneously caught fire.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. And like, he found, upon investigating after, like, the fire marshal came, the towel was basically, the fire was basically contained with the towel.
There was nothing on the walls. There was nothing.
Yeah, and the towel can maintain the shape of a towel.
Yeah.
Like, it was just singed, but it wasn't, like, you know how, like, you lose some of the fabric or whatever, but it was, it still looked like a towel.
Yeah.
And there was, like, a wire cut from an electric toothbrush or something, and a pair of scissors with, like, a hole, like, melted in, like, the metal somewhere. It was
something.
It was very odd. And then they couldn't find a trace of, like, a chemical that would, like, make it combust or anything like that.
Yeah. They tested it for everything.
Yeah. Every time there was a fire.
Yeah.
The next incident, not the worst, but one of the most famous for the case, that I've named the Scott tissue paper incident. A roll of toilet paper caught fire in the bathroom. That's what you get when you buy off-brand toilet paper. Just saying. But if I was a spirit, I wouldn't be happy with off-brand toilet paper. Just saying.
But they said there was no way it could have, like, caught fire because there was, like, no oxygen. It was, like, in between.
In between the paper and the roll was, like, they found to be the point of ignition, but there was no way.
And they also tested that, too, for any kind of, like, fire-starting ingredients and everything. And there was nothing.
Yeah.
And it still maintained its shape. Like, I'm thinking, like, when, like, one of those things catches fire, it's going to disintegrate.
Like, you're going to, like, lose some of it.
And it was still a roll.
It was still a roll. Looked like a roll.
And there was nothing on the wall. There was nothing.
Yeah. And that happened. Jerry went out into town, and that happened. He was getting batteries for his recorder.
Yeah.
And actually, when he was out in town at the store, they heard an explosion, and there were witnesses at the store.
Yeah.
And
they couldn't find where the explosion came from.
Right.
In the store.
When he was driving back to the home, the batteries caught fire in the battery compartment of the recorder.
Yeah.
So, like, there's a theme of fire somewhere.
Yep.
Because there's actually more, because with the history too.
I mean, even the fire marshal said, like, all those fires, he's like, it was not humanly possible for it to catch fire in the manner that they did. Because like, even the toilet paper roll, he said it wouldn't have been able to get sufficient oxygen to produce enough heat to sustain burning.
And this next fire is, like, actually, like, I think the most, like, strange.
Yeah.
If you haven't thought things were strange enough.
The whole situation with was wild.
Wild. So Jerry went to pick up his colleague at the airport, and he called
the house to check in.
He tried to call the house. It's actually what he always did to check on the family. He tried to call, and it wouldn't let him get through.
The operator said, like...
An operator came on and said the number is not in service or something, which aroused his suspicion, obviously, concerning. He ended up picking up his colleague, and they were on the way to the house, and they're, like, within a mile from the home, and they can see smoke. And they're like, oh, geez.
Yeah.
You know? And when upon arrival, the fire department was already there. The family was outside. a fire obviously started. It, and caused damage enough to the point where the family had to leave. And unfortunately, I mean, they moved back in for a time being, but I think they ended up leaving fairly quickly.
Yeah.
After that, and then
after that.
Yeah, and then
but then like the fire marshal, like they got to the house, Sullivan and his colleague, and the fire marshal let them in. They stayed overnight. And he tried calling the operator to see if the number was in service.
Yeah, and the operator said that's not a problem.
Yeah,
number's
perfectly fine.
Perfectly fine. So he's like, "Who was I talking to?"
Exactly. Like that's. Ooh, I get chills.
Yeah,
nope.
Like what was interrupting in him?
The call's coming from inside the house. Like no.
Like yeah. Oh man, I don't know, but. And the poor family, when the explosions were happening, that actually did cause damage to the house.
Yeah.
And they tried to put in insurance claims, and the insurance company was giving them a hard time. So, not only are they going through this horrific thing, they're getting shit from the insurance company.
Well, I mean, it would be suspicious.
I know, but it's
because you're getting, all these, what do you call it?
Claims at once. Yeah, no, I know it does look suspicious, but they have the police to back them up, saying yes, this is going on. They have documented proof.
Yeah,
it's like, how are you going to refute that?
They're insurance companies.
Yeah. Don't get me started.
It's kind of what they do.
It's their thing. Don't even get me started. Too late. Yeah, I mean, sadly. The family, due to the stress of it, that Mabel and Harold kind of died early, I think in their 60s.
I think,
I think mostly because of, the stress of it, maybe.
Yeah.
Dwayne had some health struggles.
Yeah. He also passed away, I think, late 60s, 69, I think.
Yeah, in 2023, so fairly recently. Terry's the only one surviving at the moment. It's still with no answers
to what happened. That,
There are some working theories. The first one on our list, which I don't think is the case of a witch. So they had this neighbor who the town said she's a practicing witch.
She's into all this stuff.
She's seen in town buying witch stuff and, In
the 70s, in a small town, what exactly is witch stuff?
Yeah, books on witchcraft. The neighbor would say, another neighbor witness. So, witness accounts are, and Terry kind of was, buying into it, too. I feel... But I don't feel like it was, if it wasn't the main cause, I don't think it was the main cause of the poltergeist activity, and that's what I think it is, just a poltergeist activity. But as a practicing witch myself, the things, they brought in a quote-unquote expert from the archdiocese, which makes no sense. Why would you, it's like calling a proctologist for a neurological problem. I'm sorry. I know some people's brains are in their asshole, but let's be logical. Let's be logical. Why would you somebody who's a practicing occult person? Wouldn't you try to seek out someone who practices occult?
See, I don't know a lot about that, but just the whole thing of this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
They said she was a neighbor. She wasn't a neighbor. She lived
she had to cross through the backyard. It wasn't right next door.
I mean, and it was all over because they said she wanted to buy the house and Harold said no. And then they said that's what started everything.
Yeah, and then there was an incident. There was an incident with Dwayne where she apparently lured him over to the house and he doesn't remember much of what happened, and this is where the medical stuff comes in for poor Dwayne.
Yeah.
Because he came home and
wasn't acting
right. He was like missing hours, like
yeah.
Doesn't remember much. And he said that she had cut his hair.
Yeah.
He suffered that night he suffered a grand mal seizure. I mean, obviously he survived, but like, you know.
Yeah.
So they're just attributing like that to her. And they later said in I think it was the interview with Frisbee, that they said that they did interview her, but they didn't have any findings.
Of course not, because I don't I don't put a lot into that.
Yeah, I don't put a lot into it either. You know, I mean, the Steve Shippey thing, like
that's a whole thing unto itself.
That's a whole other thing that we'll touch briefly upon, but this one, the second one, I agree with completely. I think it's a poltergeist.
Absolutely. I fully believe it was like poltergeist.
I just think the amount of attention and like the lack of knowledge that back then, like about stuff like this, the more attention you give, I think that's what it feeds off of. And that's
feeds off of fear.
Because for a whole year they were called every single night. Yeah. Poltergeists are attention whores. Yeah. 100%. 100%.
But like, if you think of what's going on in the house, I think it was attributed to Dwayne. I honestly do.
I think Dwayne had some special gifts that were just unrecognized because of the time frame. Because, like, it was frowned upon, like, to have... It was of the devil to have gifts. And he just didn't recognize it. Nobody recognized it. And, like, it could have been, like, some sort of psychic attack along with everything else going on in the house. And it just made him ill. Unfortunately, you know, no one made that realization that, you know, he needed a little more like spiritual guidance, probably something to keep that under containment. And then on top of all the attention, and that got exacerbated because apparently there was some type of leak.
Yeah, I have the newspaper article right here.
Yeah, there was some type of leak, and this poor family, they're just trying to keep their lives private, and
it was June 21st, 1975, and the headline is "Haunted House Remains a Mystery at Merrill." And it's like, it's about 6 months after it started is when it looks like when it came out.
Right, and that's when the explosions were starting to happen. So, yeah. I mean, it's pretty hard to keep something like that quiet.
Yeah.
Understandably, but at the same time, what this family's been going through.
It says, you know, they're talking about, like, you know, while the pounding and sounds are going on, and with all the power and gas turned off, they agree sensitive equipment still does not register. Publicity will endanger finding a real answer. We've spent a lot of effort on this case. Vandals could wreck the equipment and make a solution impossible. So that's one thing they were afraid of. Mm-hmm. You know, and it just talks about, like, what's going on in the case, and that they're bringing, like, equipment in and trying to test, like, all the companies and everything. Insurance representatives handling a claim for damages by the family are also keeping mum on the subject. I was told to say nothing to anybody about what I heard or saw, said one deputy. I spent 2 nights there. I can tell you one thing. I didn't sleep from beginning to end.
Right. Oh, good. That might have been the night with the alarm clock.
Oh my God, the alarm clock. We didn't even talk about the alarm clock.
Yeah, so like one night they had some deputies staying over, and there was an alarm clock. Mm-hmm. Was it on the table?
It was on the coffee table.
And then it, out of nowhere, just started levitating and circling around the room, and it nearly hit. Was it Harold? He had to like kind of duck out of the way.
Yeah.
And almost hit Harold or something when he was in the room. And then it went circled around and then went right back to the spot where it was.
Yeah. Like, it's, you know, it's wild. It's like, even the police said, like,
the amount of police witnessing stuff.
Yeah. They said they can't find anything, but something is going on out there.
Yep.
Like, yeah, no. So that's from, like, 1975.
I was looking for that quote, but I can't find it.
For the alarm clock?
No, the thing about the police actually saying that it could be paranormal.
Oh, yeah. That was in the police report.
Yeah, so in one of the police reports.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, they couldn't find a reason. They said something like it's, basically it's paranormal.
Basically, they're stating it's paranormal. And that, for police, is huge because they don't believe in this stuff.
No, they're like the first
They don't acknowledge this stuff at all.
No. And for them to, like, they say, like, in this article that, you know, one of them is like, I didn't sleep from beginning to end. You know, they said, we don't know what is, something is going on out there. So they're, like, acknowledging it.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, crazy in itself, is, like, you have, you know, all these expert people, like, FAA, doubt, like, no one's finding anything. And you have them experiencing everything, and, I mean, some of them didn't even talk about what they heard or saw. They were told not to.
Mm-hmm. Wild.
It's, yeah.
Wild. And what's funny, like, I mean, yeah, we've touched upon the media and stuff, but, like, it's just, like, wild how, like, with all the stuff with the Warrens and, like, they were really big back then, how
I'm surprised
they never sniffed this thing out.
That's what I'm, like,
That's
surprised about.
I'm wowed about. But, like, I'm kind of glad in a way because I think...
They would have been immediately like, oh, it's demons.
Yeah, it's demons.
It's demonic.
It's demonic. And I think it would have made it 10 times worse.
Yeah.
If it wasn't bad enough, you know. I think the Warrens, they were problematic. I think they were well intentioned in the beginning and everything, but
you think the fame went to their heads?
I think the fame, yeah.
Yeah. But
that's a story for another.
That's another
story
episode.
For another show. Yeah. So the media had a role in.
Steve Shippey had a role of like bringing it.
Yeah. Still,
back
Steve
to the,
Shippey,
you know, mainstream.
Was he has this series called Haunted Saginaw. He's made a few documentaries on Netflix, which we've watched a few of them.
Netflix, Amazon Prime.
Oh, Amazon, is it Amazon Prime and Netflix, or is it just Amazon Prime? Whatever.
I've just watched it on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, so I
think
it's
Netflix.
Just, yeah. Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
Because I believe what like, on one hand, I believe he was well-intentioned.
Again.
About doing this. Well-intentioned. But I do believe he took a lot of liberties.
I'm sorry, like, some of it looked CGI.
Absolutely.
Like, if you know, take it with a grain of salt if you want to go ahead and watch, you know.
Like some of the quote-unquote evidence that they found, like, I'm like, no.
Because, I mean, like, I know that he probably spent an amount of time there, but, like, what are the chances of something happening the whole time you're there?
Yeah, I don't believe that.
I don't know. It's kind of, yeah, I think a little dramatized. Like, some of those shows are.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of those shows are, like, ghost hunters and all that, like.
Ghost hunters, they're the first ones to, like, debunk everything. They're like, not everything is going to be paranormal.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
And they, you know, they're the first ones to say, I don't, you know, if you're talking about, like, ghost adventures, heck yeah. Everything, like, along with the ones, it's demonic. It's a demon.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, not every, like I said, not every noise or everything you see or hear is demonic.
But
there could be an explanation. And that was, like, when they interviewed Jerry, because he interviewed Jerry.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I try to go into things with a clean slate and not just assume it's a haunting, you know, flat out. Because he takes measurements.
Yep.
He comes in and, like, measures everything, like, where things are, like where the orientation of everything, all of the rooms, like...
He did a lot of work.
He does a lot of work before he even, like, considers, oh, this is a haunting. And he was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, he comes in with some sort of sense of skepticism, like a healthy skepticism, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that should be the approach for everything, you know?
Absolutely.
Like, even myself.
Yeah.
I get jumpy, but I'm like, there's got to be an explanation. Like, you know. You know, again, with the Steve Shippey thing, you know, like, there was one ridiculous thing. I thought it was ridiculous anyway, when they found the quote-unquote spell jar.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
In the crawl space where the bathroom is, where the toilet paper supposedly combusted. Well, did combust, but supposedly that's where they found the jar.
Yeah, okay.
In the crawl space, and they take it out, and I'm like, okay. And they unceremoniously he opens it, like.
Okay, so on that,
I'm like,
I don't believe that I think that was planted there. Don't believe they actually just quote unquote just found it.
It's a little too convenient, first of all.
And number two, even if it was there, why the hell you gonna open it?
And you're not even practicing.
You don't know what you're opening.
You don't even know what you're opening. You don't even know if you're doing it right. Like, there's a way to do things in witchcraft. It's like there's a way to do anything in any type of profession.
Absolutely. But I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, so conveniently they found a jar and he opens it, and in that jar there was like hair, there was like some like dirt or some moisture.
Yeah.
With the dirt. I'm like, oh, you're just touching this with your bare, like,
ew.
And there was some hair, and a rolled up sheet of paper, a piece of paper with, was it Harold's name? Yeah, it was Harold.
Either Harold or, I think it was either Harold or Dwayne.
I believe it was Harold.
Yeah. It was one of them.
It would make more sense if it was Dwayne.
Yeah.
But, like, at the same time, yeah, why would you?
So I don't think that was, I think it was planted. I don't think
like I
that
said,
they
watch
just
the documentary at your leisure. Like, take it with a grain of salt, I guess.
I mean, the only, like, honestly, the only reason we actually know stuff went down is the police reports.
Right.
The newspapers from the 70s. Like, the articles, like, where the police are being interviewed. Like, you can physically see stuff went on there. But the thing is, reason why I think it's a poltergeist is because there's no spectral evidence.
Right.
You don't see anything except but you see things like moving around, you hear explosions, you know, all this stuff. And that is all signs of a poltergeist.
Yeah. Classic signs.
Classic. And if you think what Dwayne was going through and all that, like, ding, ding, ding.
So, like when I said, when I was a child growing up, we had a definite poltergeist activities, and still do. Like,
and I've
objects moving and like things disappearing and like, oh,
what?
People touching you that aren't there. You can see it doesn't take much to...
It does not. No, like, I love this stuff, but...
She doesn't want to live it.
I startle easily.
She doesn't want to live it.
I thought you were looking behind me. You rat.
I got you.
Oh, my God.
Gotcha. But yeah, it's just...
And I go in the dark and do this shit.
Honestly, I mean... I don't know.
Oh, my God.
What's your childhood trauma, really? Oh my gosh, getting back to the point. What's the point? But yeah, so I totally believe the poltergeist is the reason.
100%.
I mean, because they can wreak havoc.
Yeah.
And it just got out of hand because of all the attention.
Yeah, and plus I feel like they were bringing stuff in,
Like,
and it was obviously a Catholic priest, the spirit board, like they were like talking to it. They're trying to give it attention.
Giving it attention, feeding the fear, and it's unfortunate because like now that we know what we know, don't do that.
Yeah, don't
don't give it attention.
Yeah, don't that no.
Nope. But yeah, there's also a theory like because it was Native American land.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to buy into that either. Like I feel like we blame that on everything.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, but I'm like, I also know that, like, over, like, in Ireland and stuff, they have, like, fairy mounds. And anybody that builds on a fairy mound, shit gets fucked up.
That's a possibility. Because, like, I mean, every culture has, like, a certain belief system about the land.
Yeah.
And I mean, doesn't necessarily mean it's from any kind of Native American. Like, it could be
some land you just need to leave alone.
Right.
But it's, but I want to know, like, because it said it was Harold's family land.
Right.
Have they experienced anything before?
Like, what happened? Like, what's the history of the family?
Yeah.
Like,
that's what I would love to find out. The history of the family, the history of the land. Where
I have to have
before.
a special guest on, and he has to chime in on this because he has a theory that I don't want to get into because, like, we don't have him here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He has a working theory about the family and the land.
Okay.
Because he's sensitive, like he can sense into it a lot better than me.
Yeah.
But I can kind of pick up what he's talking about, and I'm like, you might have something there.
Okay.
So that'd be down the road thing. And maybe this.
Should we do Rachel's take?
Oh yeah, what's
so Rachel put in a note for us so we could do her take on everything. So she says, having watched the documentaries, they are entertaining, but lose credibility when you see a CGI demon figure with glowing red eyes moving around the house. There are already so many skeptics out there when it comes to these type of events that dramatizing them or inserting creative license for the sake of entertainment does no one any favors.
Right. Amen.
Do you think, I mean, I think a lot, like, he did a lot to go, like, over. Like, I think the story in itself is a insane story. Like,
yeah.
It's the whole case itself. I don't think he needed all that.
Yeah, all that extra.
Yeah.
I think the interviews with Dwayne would have just sufficed. Like, I mean, Dwayne, with Terry and Frisbee and Jerry.
Yeah.
Speak for itself.
Exactly.
Like, did we have
the case speaks for itself.
And then, like, the family that lives there now, because they have, since the Pomeranings moved out, the family moved in. I don't know how soon after. Maybe was it the 90s? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I don't know how long it was unoccupied, and then was it a couple different families lived there since? Maybe.
I'm not sure.
But the family that was living there, they had interviewed and said there was only a couple of things that happened.
They didn't hear any
and I think that's just residual. Like,
yeah.
I don't think it has anything to do with them.
Yeah. No.
It could just be residual, like the guy, the figure in the window, and then like something like.
I think they heard the knocking in the girls' room.
Yeah.
I think that's what I read.
So they nothing hugely significant.
Yeah.
So I think it's just residual of whatever.
Yeah.
Happened prior. So I mean that's the story of the Pomeranings, and I hope we did it. I hope we told it.
Yeah.
As best as we can,
I mean, leave us what you guys think. Like, after hearing all this, like, what are you guys' thoughts
What's your take on this? Because it's like, this was wild.
I just can't believe it's not more well known.
Yeah. That's what I don't understand.
Because, like, finding anything on this, like, we have the newspaper articles, we have the police reports, but there's nothing really, like, out there, like, online. Maybe in Michigan, if you were to go to Saginaw, Michigan, maybe we would be able to find more.
Field trip? Well,
hey,
I mean, it does.
Game, let me know when.
It does have a history, like that road.
The whole road has a history, absolutely.
The cemetery.
That was sad. That's a sad story.
But there's a theme of fire.
Yes.
Do we want to, like, touch briefly on?
Yeah, we can.
All right. So, the cemetery haunting. So there's a cemetery. So the halfway point on Dice Road. So this cemetery draws attention to paranormal enthusiasts due to the legend of a girl named Anna Rhodes Millerton. The oldest known ghost in the area, according to the Michigan Historical Research for Paranormal Activity. The legend goes like this. Anna tragically took her life in 1830 after suffering from severe emotional distress, and for good reason.
Yeah.
She's been appearing to people for generations as a light blue and pink figure and wanders the cemetery woods along Dice Road. She appears to be confused and searching for something, most likely her lover, who sadly won't be returning to her. Some claim that she has called out to cemetery visitors and then will suddenly disappear. People assume she does not know that she's passed away nearly 2 centuries ago. According to local lore, she was buried in or near the cemetery, and her legend greatly contributes to the area's reputation as a paranormal hotspot.
Yeah.
So her story is very sad.
She's a real person.
Yeah.
She was a real person.
She was a real person. So her tragic story began in Italy when her father attempted to kill her and the rest of her family by burning them alive when she was just 5 years old.
Yeah.
Anna was the only survivor.
Yep.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
She came to America with her aunt. Once here, they settled in Saginaw, Michigan, where she quickly struck up a friendship with a Native American boy named Darkhawk and ingratiated herself amongst members of his tribe. As she grew older, she fell in love with a local boy named Jonathan Millerton, and they married. This caused Darkhawk immense jealousy, as he was working off the assumption that their childhood friendship would eventually lead to marriage as adults. Adding to Darkhawk's anger was the increasing arrival of white settlers to the area, resulting in the Native American tribes being pushed out of their land. I guess that's where kind of this assumption comes into play about the Native American land, but I don't give much merit because I still think it's a poltergeist. But anyway, moving on. Trigger warning. This is going to talk about sexual assault. So if this is, cover your ears or just don't listen. If that wasn't bad enough, some of the crueler settlers took a more brutal approach to pushing out the tribes by beating and raping the native women, including Darkhawk's mother, Singing Sparrow. White men are the worst. Clearly. Not going to argue. Anna unfortunately stumbled upon the gruesome aftermath, and Singing Sparrow, a maternal figure in her life, died in Anna's arms as she took her last breath.
That's just awful.
So sad. It gets worse.
It
really does. It really does. And this is this is a running theme because the Pomeranings, it just kept getting worse.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Between the settler's murder of his mother, attack on his tribe, and the jealous feelings he felt toward Millerton, Darkhawk wanted revenge. Naturally, he did not take it out on the men who perpetrated the violent deeds or Millerton himself, but rather he chose Anna as his victim. Which makes no sense, but here we are. Once again, a woman taking the blame. This is Rachel.
This is Rachel.
This is her point of view, her take. A woman taking the blame for the misdeeds of men. Yeah. I'm not going to argue that. During the summer of 1829, while Millerton was away for work, Anna's aunt, whom Jonathan believed would care for Anna in his absence, passed away. Gets worse and worse.
I think she also had like mental health issues too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. 100%. Totally alone, Anna was unmoored in her grief. Rachel, stop using big words on us. Another trigger warning for sexual assault. Cover your ears. Don't listen. During this time of loneliness, Dark Hawk sexually assaulted Anna, feeling no guilt in the act and looking simply for revenge. This continued repeatedly over the course of her last year of life. While she did not tell anyone about the assault, she did write about them in her journal, in which her writings over the years showed a declining mental state. There we go. Yep. Which can be seen in the following journal entry, where she believed Jonathan was sleeping while Dark Hawk assaulted her, when in reality he was away for work. Do we want to read the excerpt? I don't know if I want to read it.
Oh.
All right, it goes, Jonathan, my love, I care for him not. You must believe that yours are the lips I crave. I fear that I can no longer tame Dark Hawk's pursuit. He waits for me, veiled by the darkness of night. He comes for me while you are away, my love. I am ashamed for what has been done, my sorrow great. I cried for you, but you did not wake from your sleep. I beg your forgiveness, my love, and know you will come save me. I wait for you to wake.
And that was her journal entry on October 8th, 1829.
Yeah. So, I mean, it still gets worse.
Oh.
On August 12th, 1830, I'm laughing because, I mean, like, you'll cry otherwise. Anna received the kind of news no spouse ever wants to receive. While traveling for work, Jonathan's ship sank. Having suffered more tragic losses than many can imagine and suffering abuse at the hands of a person she once considered her close companion, Anna had lost all hope. Knowing Jonathan would not be able to save her from Dark Hawk's assaults and desiring to be reunited with her lost love, Anna hanged herself from the rafters of a shed near the back of Dice Road Cemetery. It is said that during Anna's lifetime, this land would have been a Native American burial ground. The shed, which was later made into an outhouse, is said to still be there today. Anna truly took Dark Hawk's assault to her grave, as her journal documenting the atrocity was found sealed in the walls of the shed, found by the MHRFPA member in 1895. Wow.
Yeah.
So
a month after she was buried, her husband returned home.
Yes.
So he had
even
not
more
died.
Tragically.
He had not died.
He had not died
while away, but rather chosen to explore an uncharted direction home. When he didn't reach port on time, it was believed that his ship had sunk and he had perished with it. He was so overcome with grief and he never married again. Between 1831 and 1878, Jonathan claimed to have experienced multiple sightings of Anna in the forest near the shed. He took it as a sign that she was waiting for him to join her, and he continued to visit her until he had died of natural causes at the age of 74.
Wow.
Yeah.
So she basically hung herself for nothing.
Yeah.
Like, because of misinformation.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, it's not like they had, like...
So I can only hope that she found peace. Because that's just... What a sad life. What a sad life.
Well, I mean, and while they were investigating the Pomeraning house, like, I remember in one of the interviews with Frisbee, that he had responded to an incident, or happened upon an incident from the cemetery. A girl was, like, running because her friends had abandoned her in the cemetery, and she must, I think, saw Anna or something, got scared, and, like, was running from the cemetery, and he happened upon her when he was out, like, patrolling or something.
Yeah.
So, like, not only with the investigation with the Pomeranings going on, there was other things happening you know, along that stretch of road.
Yeah.
And the other thing is the general store.
Yeah.
So, in addition to all the cemetery and the Pomeraning incident, the other spooky structure located at the corner of Iva and Dice Road is the Iva General Store, which was built in 1845 and served as a post office, general store, and a community hub for the local residents. It still stands today, but is the only structure still standing from the unincorporated community of Iva. Not much is known about the town except most of the residents began to die off due to outbreaks of smallpox, diphtheria, and malaria. The various illnesses are said to have caused the town to be quarantined and later burned down, according to the current homeowner, Mike Midcalf. So, again, with fire.
Yeah.
So there's a fire theme.
It's
weird.
It's weird.
It's just weird. Since moving into the old general store in 2006 and renovating it, Mike Midcalf and his wife Celeste have experienced a number of strange occurrences that can only be described as paranormal. Shortly after beginning the renovation, the Midcalfs began experiencing phenomena such as Mike feeling something brush against his head while working. One time the power saw and lights went out while he was working, which can be chalked up to electrical problems in an old building. But even after the electrical problems were fixed, the issue still remained and arguably got worse. Yep. So, again, things got worse. One night, both Mike and Celeste heard the washing machine running, except neither were washing clothes.
Yeah.
I mean, at least...
It tried.
It tried.
It tried.
I mean, there probably were no clothes in there, but I said if you can flick a light, you can push a broom. Come on.
Wash some clothes.
Wash some clothes. Like while you're busy like trying to make my life miserable. When they went to check, they saw the machine inexplicably filling up with water. The couple typically brushed off the occurrences and avoided sharing their experiences for fear of people giving them that look.
Yeah.
We know that look. We get that look. As of 2016, the couple had no plans to move as they had invested a great deal into the home renovation. They agreed that if the activity began to hurt them or started destroying property, they would get out of Dodge. Mm-hmm. Deuces.
Yep.
Here's the deed.
Yep, exactly. See, that's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. After seeing Shippey's documentary about the Pomeraning house, the Midcalfs called him to investigate their home, and a subsequent documentary was produced called A Haunting on Dice Road 2, Town of the Dead.
Have not seen it.
No, I don't think I really want to. I think I've seen all I've wanted to see.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I said, well-intentioned, but...
Yeah, it's
a bit much.
That's kind of what I was going to say.
I mean, all in all, this was, like, a terrible thing for them to have to go through, and Terry, the only survivor, he still has no answers.
Yeah.
Till this day.
I can't even imagine.
But, I mean, like...
And imagine some people not even believing you that happened, but you lived it, and you have all this evidence to back it up. All these reports, all these, like, people, witnesses, and everything, and...
Until this day, we don't...
And then you have, you know, Steve Shippey coming in, again, maybe well-intentioned, but then taking that many liberties, it kind of turns it into something else.
Yeah, like opening old wounds for what?
Yeah.
You know, and then still have no answers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, I know for the technology of the time, too. Like, I'm kind of hoping that Jerry is, like, out there.
Yeah.
Investigating again.
I hope so, but...
Busy investigating. That's why you can't answer an email. But, you know, like, we're probably in his spam folder.
Probably. That would actually make sense. That's a good idea. That would make
so much sense.
That's a good idea.
I mean, we haven't really tried to call the UMass Dartmouth number. That would be, like,
there may be a part 2. if we get
if we get any headway on that. But just it's like a fresh start. Like if he's actually he's revisiting the case. So
how do you revisit the case though if the people that are living there now?
I mean, the people that are living there now,
haven't really experienced that much.
So I don't know. Just going over
notes again,
everything, a fine-tooth comb, and just I don't know what that entails, but
yeah.
My hope is that they find something.
Same.
Just so
find an answer.
Terry can have a little peace of mind, I guess.
Yeah. 100%.
Well, that's the story of Merrill, Michigan, and the Pomeraning haunting. And I hope you found all of this interesting. And you can go and do your own research because
absolutely
this took us
It took us a while to find all this stuff because it wasn't readily available.
So you built
yeah. It's I'm proud of this though.
I'm proud of it. I'm proud of us.
Good job.
Good job. Oh, this is my friend Mortimer.
Yeah,
Mort for short. He's my emotional support
alien. We figured he'd be good for the show.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us, and
we'll see you
next time. Keep it weird.